Right, okay, so we're going to set ourselves up in an all-fours position. So I'm going to use my towel, like I normally do. Okay, so we've got hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Make sure you're looking down at the mat. So you want that nice length in the back of the neck. Shoulders are down. Okay, now make sure the abdominals are pulled in. So just imagine that belt going around the hips. Just draw in the abdominals, pull them up a little bit. And then we're nice and supported, ready to start. Let's start with cat mobility. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, we're going to tuck the tailbone under, tuck the head under, and arch the back up and over as much as you can. And then we'll come all the way back down to that neutral position. And then off we go again. So as you breathe out, tuck the tailbone under, tuck the head under, arch the back up and over. And then come all the way back down to that neutral position. Off we go, breathing out, sucking out. And every time you come back to that neutral position, just make sure that you bring the shoulders down with you. Okay, let's do it one more time. So here we go, breathing out, tuck the tailbone under, tuck the head under, arch the back up and over. And we'll come all the way back down to neutral. Wonderful. Okay, let's sit back in the shallow stretch. So let's sit back towards the feet. Nice big reach with the arms along the floor. Get that nice stretch. The length of the spine. Wonderful. Okay, let's roll ourselves back up to sitting. So we'll come back into our all-fours position again. This time we'll work the shoulders a little bit. We're going to do our hand pedals. Now, when we do our hand pedals, make sure you're nice and stable around the center. We don't want any movement around the center of the body at all. So make sure the abdominals are pulled in. Keep the shoulders down. Take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, let's swing one arm forward. And then bring it back down. Swing the other arm forward. And then bring it back down. And again, swing the other arm forward. Wonderful. So on this one, just be aware of where your weight is. Keep your weight dead center, down the middle. So you don't want the weight to shift through the legs. So you don't want it to shift from one leg to the other. Keep that weight nice and central down the center. So the rest of the body stays completely still. And you've just got those arms moving. Wonderful. Breathing out. And breathing in. Let's just do one more on each arm. That's the last one. And then from there we can sit back into shallow stretch. As we reach with the arms again. Wonderful. Okay, let's roll ourselves back up to sitting. So this time we're going to come up into a high kneeling position. Okay, so when we set ourselves up in high kneeling, remember we want knees under hips. You want to make sure you engage the abdominals, so put that belt on. Squeeze your bum a little bit, that keeps you nice and upright in the upper body. Okay, so let's just loosen these shoulders up a little bit more. Let's just do a few shoulder rolls. There we go, just sending those shoulders all the way up to the ears. And you can change direction. One more time around. And then less than that. Okay, from here, a bit of rotation. So we're going to cross the arms in front like that. Okay. Now we're doing rotation, so don't forget you've got to keep the pelvis nice and still, haven't you? So the hip bones at the front, they've got to keep pointing forwards. So we're going to rotate to the left on the first one. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare, and then as you breathe out, let's rotate round to the left, and then come back to center, and then we'll go round to the right. and then come back to center. And again, breathing out, and breathing in. Breathing out, and breathing in. So we're just twisting from the waist up, keeping everything from the waist down, completely still. Let's do a couple more. Relax those arms down. So I've had the arms down by the side of us now. We're going to do a little bit of lateral flexion. So we're going to flex to the left. Remember to keep the abdominals engaged. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, let's slide the hand down the leg. How far will it go? Can you touch the floor? And then come all the way back up again. Breathe out and slide the other hand down the leg. And then come all the way back up. And again, breathing out. And breathing out. So remember, keep the abdominals engaged. Make sure you're nicely supported around your center. So you're protecting the lower back as you do this one. Again, a couple more. Last one. Wonderful. Take the arms up to the ceiling. Reach up with the arms as much as you can. Nice reach up. A nice stretch. And then bring them all the way back down. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to come into side lying this time. So you'll need something to support your head. So I've got my block. Okay. A couple of towels, 2 or 3, folded up. If you haven't got a block, that will do. Okay. So side lying now. So we're going to come down onto our mat. Okay, so we're going to have the arms out in front, okay? We've got the legs bent, so you want the feet roughly in line with the spine, okay? Feet together, knees together, okay? And then make sure you draw the shoulders down, even that side you're lying on. Remember, we want to try and create a little bit of space underneath that neck there. Okay, we want to engage the abdominals again. So when you breathe out, feel like you're just pushing that top hip away from you as you put that belt on. See if you can just get a little bit of lift out of the mat there. Okay, and you will take those arms out in front. So we're going to start with legs. We're going to do a nice simple a lift and lower to start with. So we're going to straighten out the leg. And I'm just going to bring. I'm just shifting a little bit, I think. Okay, right. Okay, so the leg is nice and straight. So we're going to start at hip height. We're just going to do a little lift and lower. So we'll take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, we'll float the leg up a little bit more. And then bring it down to hip height. Breathe out, float the leg up again. And bring it down to hip height. Breathing out. And breathing in. Wonderful. So, nice straight leg. Okay, but don't forget to just focus on this center as you're doing it. So make sure you've still got the belt on. See if you can still maintain that little bit of lift out of the mat. Here we go again, breathing out. Let's just do 2 more. Breathing out, breathing in. Wonderful. Okay, let's bring that leg up into our rest position. Just rest it down there a little bit. So you should have felt those muscles in the hip there and the top of the leg just starting to work a little bit towards the end there. Okay, so let's bring those legs back together. Make sure the abdominals are still engaged. We're going to float the top leg up again. Now this time we're going to do some little circles. So off we go. We're just going to do some little circles, nice small ones, circling the leg around, but still keeping it completely straight. So squeeze the front of the thigh, get that leg as straight as you can. Just breathing normally on this one. So nice and strong in the center. Let's change direction. Keep breathing nice and steady. Let's just do one more circle around And then we'll bring that leg up into our rest position again. Wonderful. Okay, so we'll give the legs a little breather, so we'll bring them back together again. We'll do a little bit more shoulder mobility this time. So we're going to do chalk circle. So we're going to draw a nice big circle with that arm. Now make sure you've still got the belt on, because we want to keep the pelvis nice and still on this one. So we're going to take a breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to send the arm up and over the top. Now you're going to turn the head as the arm goes around. Keep looking at the hands until the hands come back together. Now we're going back around in the opposite direction. Okay, and again, I'm turning my head, we're following the hand as it goes around, and then bringing the hands back together. Off we go again, over the top. So turn your head as much as you can. You can turn the shoulders as well, so it feels like you're opening out the chest a little bit. But just make sure that you're keeping the pelvis nice and still as we're doing it. We'll go around again. Nice and steady. Here's the last one. Back in the opposite direction. And we'll bring those hands back together. Okay. Let's do a little bit more for the hips. We're going to do the clam this time. So again, belt should still be on. See if you can still create that little bit of lift under the waist there. We're going to keep the feet together and open out the knees. So take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, we'll open out the top knee and then bring them back together. Breathe out, open out the top knee and bring them back together. Breathe out and breathe in. So on this one, our focus should be on keeping that pelvis completely still. So don't worry if you can't open out that knee too far, that's okay. It's more important that you keep that pelvis completely still. Let's do a couple more. Breathe out, breathing in. Okay, let's bring that leg up into our rest position again. Wonderful. Okay, so that was our little sideline sequence. So we've got to work on the other side, haven't we? So we're going to bring the legs back together so we can push ourselves up. And then we're just going to turn ourselves over. Okay, so while you sort yourself out and turn over the other way, I'm just going to have a little look, see if we've got any more messages. Who else is with us? Mary's with us now. Morning, Mary. Wonderful. There's a few of you on, isn't that fantastic? Right, okay, so we're going to set ourselves up again. Okay, so your head should be nice and supported. Arms are out in front. Feet are roughly in line with the spine. The knees are bent. Okay, so again, make sure the shoulders are down, particularly this side you're lying on. Remember, you want that little bit of space underneath the neck there. Engage the abdominals. Push that hip away again and create that bit of space underneath there. Okay, so back to the first one we did. That was our lift and lower. So we're going to take that top leg out, keep it nice and straight. Take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, we'll float the leg up and back down. And that floats it up and back down. And again, float up and back down. Wonderful. Keeping the leg as straight as you can, remember. Wonderful. Make sure you've still got those abdominals engaged. Let's see if we can do another 3, shall we? Breathing out, breathing in. Here we go, the last one. Wonderful. Okay, let's bring that knee up into our rest position. Okay, so we're going to go circling then this time. So we'll bring the legs back together. Keep everything switched on around the center. Straighten out that top leg again. So here we go, just breathing normally this time. Let's start circling the leg around. Nice and slow. Nice and controlled. We'll change direction. So keep it nice and still around the center of the body as we do this one. Wonderful. One more circle around, and then we'll bring that leg up into our rest position. Wonderful. Okay, we're going back to our chalk circle, so we'll bring the legs back together. Keep the abdominals switched on though, keep the pelvis still for this one, remember. So we'll take a breath in, and when we breathe out, we're going to circle the arm around, turning the head, following the hands as we go, and we change direction. Another way. And again. So don't forget, you can turn the shoulders on this one, open out the chest a little bit. And just make sure that you're keeping that pelvis completely still. Let's go around again. Once more in each direction. Here's the last one. And then we'll bring those arms back together. Wonderful. Okay, one more to go in side line. We're going to come back to the clamp. So again, nice engaged around the center. Keep the feet together. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, we'll open out that top knee, and then bring them back together. Breathe out, open out the top knee, and bring them back together. Breathe out, and breathe in. So again, focusing on the pelvis. Keep it nice and still. Wonderful. Okay, how many more should we do? Let's do another 3. Breathe out, breathe in. Here's the last one. Wonderful. Bring that leg up into our rest position. Having to breathe in there for a second. Okay, legs back together. Let's push ourselves up. Okay, we're going to come back into high kneeling then this time. Okay, up on the knees again. Okay, so we've got knees, hip width, belt is on. Squeeze your bum a little bit. Make sure you're kneeling up nice and tall, nice length through the spine there. Okay, just give those shoulders a quick roll around. Okay, wonderful. Let's cross the arms again. Shoulders are down. We're going to rotate round to the left on the first one. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, we're going to go round to the left. And then come back to center. And then we go round to the right. And back to center. Off we go again. Breathing out. And breathing in. So remember, the hip bones should be pointing forwards the whole time. So we're just twisting from the waist up. Here's the last one. Okay, relax the arms down. Just keep everything switched on around the center. We're going to slide the left hand down the leg. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, we'll slide that hand down. And then come all the way back to upright. Slide the other hand down. And then come back to upright. And again, breathing out. And breathing in. Breathing out. And wonderful. Just one more on each side. Here's the last one. And then we're going to take the arms up to the ceiling. Nice big reach up as high as you can. And then we'll bring those arms down. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to have a little change of position this time. So we're going to come face down onto the mat. We're going to do the dart in a minute. So I'm just going to roll my towel upright so that I can rest my head on it. Okay, so we'll do that one in a second. But we're going to start with the diamond press. So we're going to work the upper back a little bit this time. So we're going to come face down onto the mat. So we've got the feet hip width apart. Fingertips are overlapping a little bit, and you're just going to bring your head down onto your fingers. Okay, elbows are nice and wide. Shoulders are down. Make sure you put that belt on again. Make sure you're nicely engaged. So in this one, we're just going to float the head and breastbone up off the mat a little bit. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare, and then as you breathe out, we're going to float the head and breastbone up just a little bit, and then lower it all the way back down again. And then we're using our breathing out, floating up, and then floating back down. So not too high with this one, okay? Just 2 or 3 inches up off the mat is fine, okay? Now make sure you keep the arms nice and relaxed and the shoulders. Don't use the arms to push you up. Keep that neck nice and straight. You're always looking down at the mat. Off we go again. Let's do another 3. Breathe out. And breathe in. It's our last one. Wonderful. Okay, so let's bring our towel in so that we can rest our head on it this time. So we're going to do the dart. So we're going to bring the forehead down onto the towel. We're going to bring the legs together this time. And the arms are down by the side of us. Okay, so we're going to float and reach with the arms to see if we can touch the toes. Make sure you've got the abdominals engaged. Now we'll keep the head down actually on the first view. Okay, then we might just add in a little head float as well in a second. So we're all ready to go. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, we're going to float the arms. We're going to reach and see if we can touch those toes, keeping that head down on the towel. And then relax the arms back down. And then we'll do it again. So we're going to breathe out, reach with the arms, see if we can touch the toes, and then relax back down. And breathing out. Okay, now I want you to work the legs a little bit as well. So just give those legs a little squeeze together. Squeeze the knees and the ankles together. Squeeze your bum as well. Get as many muscles in those legs working as you can. And keep squeezing. Don't relax the legs. Okay, it needs to be a light squeeze, but keep them working the whole time. Here we go again. Breathing out, float and reach with the arms, and relax back down. Last one. Now we'll keep going because we're going to add in a little head float on the next one. So here we go. So as we float and reach this time, let's float the head up just a little, up off the towel, and then relax back down. Off we go again, breathing out, float and reach. Keep working the legs as well. And then relax back down. And again, make sure you've got the abdominals nicely engaged. And relax back down. Let's do another 2. Here's the last one. Nice big reach, big squeeze with the legs on the last one. And then relax back down. Wonderful. Okay, let's bring ourselves up onto all fours. So from there, we can come back into our shell stretch. Nice big reach. Those arms. And then come back up to sitting. Okay, so let's change position again. So we're going to lie on our back then this time. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of a pelvic stability to start with. Okay, so we're going to do some little knee circles. So we'll make sure that we're set up nicely first of all. So we've got feet and knees hip width apart. We need to make sure we're neutral, don't we? So just do a couple of pelvic tilts. Just make sure that you finish with that slight curve in the lower back. Okay, make sure you're not too arched, so just check with your hand if you need to. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. Don't forget to put that leg back on. Okay, so we're going to float one leg up. Okay, we're going to hold that leg there for a second. Okay, so make sure you're all nicely set up. Abdominals are engaged. Now, it's pelvic stability, so you've got to keep the pelvis as still as you possibly can now. Okay, we're going to circle the leg. So I just want you to make a nice small circle. You're circling from the hip. So you don't want any movement through the knee or the ankle. It's all coming from the hip. So make the circles nice and small so that we can keep the pelvis nice and still. Let's change direction. Back around the other way. That's it. Keep going. Wonderful. We'll just do one more circle around. And you can lower that leg down. Okay, let's try it on the other one. Float the leg up. Okay, make sure you're nicely engaged, all ready to go. So we'll just breathe normally on this. Okay, just a nice small circle, nice and controlled. Now, just check what's happening with the leg that isn't moving. Okay, check that that knee is pointing straight up to the ceiling. Okay, so you don't want the leg to start moving out to the side. Okay. Keep that knee pointing to the ceiling. Let's change direction again. Nice and controlled. It's easier if the circles are a little bit smaller as well. Okay, just one more circle around. And then relax that one down. Wonderful. Okay, so moving on. We're going to add in some different legs this time. So we're still set up nicely. We're just going to do our simple scissor legs for a second. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare. And then as you breathe out, we're going to float one knee up. And then float it back down. Breathe out, float the other knee up. And float it back down. And again, breathing out, float one knee up. And float it back down. And again, float it up. And down. Okay, keep those legs going. Okay, so it's still a pelvic stability exercise because you've got to make sure that the abdominals are engaged so you don't lose that neutral position. You don't want that lower back to arch. I think we need to start adding in some arms. So what we'll do is we'll work opposite arm to leg. We'll just keep these legs going for a second while I'm talking. Okay, so we'll work opposite arm to leg. So we're going to send the opposite arm overhead as far as you can take it. So we'll do it on the next one. So, as you breathe out, you're going to send the opposite arm overhead, and then bring everything back down. And again, opposite arm goes overhead, and bring everything back down. And again. Nice and controlled, nice and steady. Just make sure you're keeping the shoulders down as well. So when the arms comes down onto the mat, just make sure that those shoulders are nice and relaxed again. Do a couple more. That's the last one. Wonderful. Okay, so from this position again, we'll move those legs on a little bit this time. So we're going to take a breath in. When you breathe out, we're going to float one leg up again. Now, from here, we're going to straighten out the leg so the knees finish side by side. Then we're going to fold the knee back towards the chest and then lower the foot down onto the mat. Then we'll do it on the other leg. So we float the knee up. We're going to straighten out the leg. Bring the knee back towards the chest. And then lower the foot back down. Off we go again. So you float the leg up. Straighten it out. Bring it back in. And lower. So we'll do one more like this on the other leg. Straighten it out. Wonderful. Then we'll bring that foot down. We'll just have a quick breather. Okay, because we're going to take the arms up to the ceiling now so we can add some arms in. So the same legs again. This time, each time you straighten out the leg, we're going to send both arms overhead as far back as you can take them. So you can take them all the way down to the floor, or you can just take them to there, okay, wherever's comfy for you. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take a breath in to prepare. And then as you breathe out, we're going to float that knee up again. Okay, now let's straighten out the leg and send the arms overhead. Bring everything back to center. And then lower the foot back down. And do it again. Lower the leg up. Straighten everything out. And move back to center. And back down. And do it again. Straighten out the arms and legs. And again. Wonderful. We're just going to do one more on each leg. Wonderful. Okay, here we go. Here's our last one. Open leg up. Arms and legs go out. To center. And around. Wonderful. We're going to keep the arms where they are. We'll keep them up to the ceiling. We're going to do some shoulder lifts from here. So keep the shoulders down nicely into the mat. We're going to reach with alternate arms up to the ceiling. So take a breath in to prepare. And as you breathe out, you'll reach up with one hand so you can touch the ceiling. And then bring it back down. Then breathe out, reach up with the other hand, try and touch the ceiling. And bring it back down. And again, you reach up, try and touch the ceiling. And bring it back down. Reach up, try and touch the ceiling. And bring it back down. Breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. Just two more. Here's the last one. Wonderful. Okay. Shoulder sinks back into the mat, but we're going to keep the arms here. We're going to go into windows this time. So from here, we're going to send the elbows down to the floor, nice and wide out to the side. Now, I want to send the back of the hands down onto the floor. Now, reach across the floor, straighten out the arms as much as you can, and then bring the arms all the way back up to the ceiling. Ready to go again. So here we go, elbows go down, nice and wide, out to the side. Back of the hands go down, onto the floor. Let's reach across the floor, the arms are nice and straight. And then bring them all the way back up to the ceiling. And again, elbows go down. Back of the hands go down. Nice big reach across the floor. And then bring them all the way back up. And again, elbows down. Back of the hands down. Don't reach. Let's just do it one more time. Elbows down. Hands down. Nice big reach. And back to the ceiling, and this time bringing the arms all the way back down onto the mat. Okay, so let's just roll the head from side to side a little bit. Just release any tension in the neck and shoulders. That's it, and then we'll bring the head back to center. Let's just focus on the breath just to finish off with. So we're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So you close your eyes if you want to, taking that nice deep breath in and out.